And here we are with part 2 of chapter 11. 11.5 Lord Dunmore, Loyalist Governor of Virginia. John Murray was a fierce Loyalist leader. His British title was Lord Dunmore. He came from a royal Scottish family and was elected to the British Parliament at the age of 29. In 1771, King George III appointed Dunmore to serve as a royal governor of the colony of Virginia. Dunmore was a proud and wealthy man. He dressed in fancy clothes that showed off his wealth and importance. He was stubborn and sometimes bad-tempered, and he was very loyal to Great Britain. Dunmore pointed out that Great Britain started the colonies and continued to protect them. Therefore, he felt it had the right to rule them and make them pay taxes on British goods. Dunmore also argued that fighting for independence would hurt the economy and make many colonists poor. He strongly believed that the colonists had a duty to obey British laws. The colonies, he said, must depend on Great Britain. Colonists who would not fight for the king were traitors. As governor, Dunmore thought that being tough would frighten the colonists into accepting British rule. Instead, his firm actions angered many people in Virginia. Dunmore began to fear for his family's safety. In June 1775, he moved them onto a British warship. He then gathered a number of warships. He sent the ships to attack patriots' homes and plantations along the Elizabeth River. He promised to free any slaves owned by the rebels if the slaves fought against the patriots. A number of enslaved Africans joined him to gain their freedom. In the end, Dunmore's harsh actions only made the views of the patriots more popular. Because of him, many who had been neutral began to think they should fight for independence from Great Britain. And some vocabulary that we have a traitor, which is a person guilty of betraying or acting against his or her country. And then with this picture, the caption is, John Murray, or Lord Dunmore, was a loyalist leader. In 1775, he launched a naval attack on the homes of patriots along the Elizabeth River in Virginia. All right. Then we have 11.6, Benjamin Franklin, the thoughtful patriot. Benjamin Franklin was a popular and respected patriot. At first, he did not favor independence. He hoped that Great Britain would start to treat the colonies more fairly. When that didn't happen, Franklin sided firmly with the patriots. Franklin had many talents. He was a successful writer, printer, inventor, and scientist. He lived in the city of Philadelphia in the colony of Pennsylvania. There, he helped to start a library, a hospital, and a college. Although he was an important man, Franklin often dressed in plain suits. He sometimes wore spectacles. He often wore a little fur cap to keep his head warm in winter. People liked and admired Franklin. He was knowledgeable, funny, and wise. He could stay calm when others grew angry. He was good at helping people to understand one another's ideas during arguments. These abilities made him a skilled statesman. He had a leading role in shaping American policy at home. He was also a key diplomat who represented American ideas in Europe. From 1757 to 1775, Franklin represented the point of view of the colonies in Great Britain. Patiently, he tried to persuade the British government to stop making laws that colonists thought were unfair. He did help convince the government to repeal the Stamp Act, but Great Britain continued to pass unfair laws. At last, Franklin went home and became a patriot leader. Franklin favored independence for several reasons. He thought that Great Britain would keep making unfair laws. He believed the colonists could no longer trust the British government. Finally, Franklin believed that the colonists had the ability to govern themselves. By 1775, he was ready to help them prove that he was right. And the caption for this picture, At first, Benjamin Franklin tried to reach agreement with Great Britain. But by 1775, he fully supported independence and he became a patriot leader. And that's the picture that goes with Benjamin Franklin. All right, our next one, we have Mercy Otis Warren, Patriot with a Pen. Patriot Mercy Otis Warren was a Massachusetts writer and poet. Patriots shared their ideas at meetings in her home. Among those who attended were John and Abigail Adams, Samuel Adams, and Otis's husband, James. Some historians believe that the idea for the committees of correspondence was first discussed in her home. Warren was thin with dark eyes and dark hair. She was very religious and cautioned her friends against wearing the latest fashions. She felt that doing so would offend God. Even as a girl, Warren loved reading, writing, and discussing politics. She became upset by Great Britain's harsh treatment of the colonies. She felt that taxes were too high and that workers were paid too little. In both her writings and discussions, Warren made several arguments in favor of independence. She said that British laws and taxes were unfair. Families in the colonies had a hard time earning enough money to pay for expensive British goods. Therefore, the colonies would be better off with their own government. Warren also believed that women had a duty to speak out against Great Britain. And while she thought that women didn't have enough strength to fight on the battlefields, their minds could be quite powerful. She believed that women should have the same choices as men to get an education and to take an active role in politics. Warren expressed her ideas through her writing. Two of her plays cleverly attacked loyalists such as Thomas Hutchinson. Her writings helped to encourage many people in Massachusetts to become patriots. Here's the caption for the picture. Patriot Mercy Otis Warren was a writer from Massachusetts. She wrote plays and poems supporting independence. Our next feature, 11.8, Samuel Adams, True Patriot. Samuel Adams was a leading patriot in Massachusetts. Adams believed that the British were harsh and unfair rulers. He called on the colonies to fight for their independence. Adams was always interested in politics. He went to Harvard University in Massachusetts. There he wrote a paper on people's rights to fight against unfair government. Other local patriots saw him as a leader. By the mid-1760s, he was a full-time politician. Adams was born into a wealthy Boston family, but he didn't always manage his money wisely. When he began his life as a politician, his friends had to buy him a new suit, a wig, and other clothing many politicians wore at that time. Adams was devoted to politics. He was a dramatic speaker and persuasive writer. He was the master at using these talents to gain public support. His enemies called him a troublemaker. Adams argued for independence by writing newspaper articles. He also gave speeches and frequently spoke at town meetings. Adams believed that colonists should not have to pay the high taxes on British goods. He also said it was unfair that the king chose governors for the colonies. The colonists, he argued, should be able to elect their own governors. Adams also thought that the colonists should have the power to change unfair laws. If Great Britain refused to give them this power, then they should become a separate country. In 1765, Adams helped to organize a group called the Sons of Liberty. The Sons were a secret group of patriots. They encouraged colonists to disobey laws like the Stamp Act. In 1773, Adams and the Sons led the Boston Tea Party to protest British taxes on tea. Adams also helped to set up the committees of correspondence. These groups helped patriots in all the colonies share news and plans with one another. Before long, Samuel Adams was working day and night to help the colonies win their independence. And here, the caption for this picture: Samuel Adams was an active patriot in Massachusetts. In 1765, he helped to organize the Sons of Liberty. This group led colonists in resisting unfair British laws. And there is the picture of Samuel Adams. And then with this picture, the caption that goes with it: in this 1776 scene, the Sons of Liberty raised a liberty pole in a town square. Colonists would put a symbol such as a flag at the top. Patriots met around these poles to discuss ways to resist British laws they thought were unfair. Summary. In this chapter, you read about 6 colonists who had ideas about independence. You used a T-chart to identify these 6 colonists as either loyalists or patriots. Loyalists supported the British king. Some, like Thomas Hutchinson and Lord Dunmore, were royal governors. They believed in Great Britain's right to make laws for the colonies. Some, like Jonathan Boucher, were religious leaders. They thought the colonists had a duty to obey the king. Some landowners feared losing their property. Patriots wanted independence from Great Britain. Some, like Benjamin Franklin, became patriots only after trying to persuade the British to change their actions. Others, like Mercy Otis Warren and Samuel Adams, strongly protested against British laws and taxes. Soon, some patriots were openly calling for independence. In 1775, many colonists were not ready to take such a bold step. What convinced more colonists to support independence? Read on to find out. And that is the end of chapter 11. Thank you.